So The Punisher season 2 has dropped on Netflix a long time ago, and I don't know why it took me this long to finish the show. Yeah, that's, I guess, yeah. I'm just late to everything. If you guys have already seen my review for season 1 of The Punisher, you know that I really love that first season. I know it's not for everyone, but I honestly really love that season. So coming into this second season, I had really high hopes, and I think for the most part, they actually delivered. Jon Bernthal is back as Frank Castle, aka The Punisher, and he is, I think at this point, he might be one of the best comic book casting choice ever. Frank is the kind of guy that you would have a beer with, you could chill with him, but he also scared the shit out of you. Like, this dude, he got some issues. Let's just put it that way. So there are definitely moments where, the performance is really scary. Like, he went overboard in many occasions. Like, dude, like, just chill out a bit. But there are also moments where, some of the more emotional, some of the more somber moments, and he like, just Jon Bernthal is just so good. There is a scene where he is on a hospital bed, and that scene broke my heart. It broke my heart. It's, oh my god, it's so beautiful. And acting wise, they were all really solid across the board. I mean, there was no, weaklings and nothing like that. But where this season kind of lost me a bit is in his storytelling. The second season of The Punisher suffered from the same thing that the second season of Daredevil did. Is that it's just too many things going on at once. You have the main character dealing with two different plots, and these two plots, these two stories, they don't really have anything to do with one another. So watching it felt more like playing a video game where you would go to different side quests and side missions and whatnot. And it's not. It doesn't feel like a one cohesive story. Very early on in the season, Frank Castle ran into this like little girl who's running from a religious dude. His name is John Griffin. He's kind of like a mafia boss of some sort, and he is hunting her down. And Frank is like, you know what, I'm gonna protect this girl. I'm not gonna let anything bad happen to this girl. So he kind of took her in and tried to take care of her and try to kill all these people who's going after her. So that's solid, right? But then you also have Jigsaw, played brilliantly by Ben Barnes, by the way. Jigsaw coming back. This time he lost his memories, so it's kind of make that dynamic between the Punisher and Jigsaw a bit more interesting, because now, is he still guilty, or is he innocent now that he doesn't remember what he did? So that's both of that really, really good stuff, but they didn't really have enough time to develop one or the other enough for you as the audience to really care about either one. I thought Jigsaw's and John Griffin, both of these guys, got the potential to be some of the most compelling villains ever put on screen. But because they exist on the same season, the two storylines exist sort of simultaneously. You can't have that. You can't reach that level of writings, which is kind of a shame, because I really like both of them. I thought the performance from these two actors are brilliant, especially Ben Barnes. But just when I was about to, get into one storyline, they would cut to the other. So I couldn't really, bring myself to really care about one or the other as much as I wanted, because they were both there. Also, the stuff with Jigsaw, they got a good idea. I'm not gonna lie, they got a really good idea, having him, losing his memories and whatnot. But I think it would have been even more interesting if he's just a guy who lost his memory, and Frank is like he's trying his best not to kill this man who has done all of these horrible things to him and his family, but at the same time he doesn't really remember. So it would have been really cool to have your protagonist in that really difficult situation, instead of trying making Jigsaw, what's his name again? God damn it, Billy Russo. Billy Russo. Instead, they try so hard to make him evil again. You know, instead they try to make him do all these like crazy things that kind of fell out of character because like he was in hospital, he was really traumatized. He got nightmares of a skull, a big white skull coming at him. I felt like the stuff that he did, the stuff that the writers had him doing was kind of forced. He started robbing banks, started doing all these crazy shit. I was like I get it. I get that you're trying to make him evil. So then when Frank Castle and him start fighting, you can have like a clear, okay, good guy, bad guys. But wouldn't it be cool to have Frank Castle, the anti-hero, just fighting some dude who's like, like, why are you trying to kill me? Like, what did I do? That would have been really cool, I think. And speaking of fighting, let's talk about the actions. The actions, they are truly amazing, right? The stunt work, the hand-to-hand combat, the guns, shootout, and it's super gory, brutal stuff, right? But you get a lot of those in the beginning and the end of the show. That middle chunk kind of dragged a little bit. There was a lack of action. There was a lack of punishing in that middle chunk. So you know how like in the first season it started out kind of slow, but then they built up slowly to that finale. This season felt like you started here, like the level of intensity right here, and then it dropped, and then when you got to like the last 3 or 4 episodes, picked up again. Me personally, from a pacing perspective, I prefer the first season. I think like after 7 or 8 episodes, I realized that the stitches, the bruises, the blood is part of the Punisher costume. It's not just Frank Castle in the black costume with the big white skull on it. It's also the blood all over his face, all over his body, right? And the stitches, and his black eye and all that, like all his injuries and all the blood that could be his, could be the other guys, but that is part of the costume, kind of. Like, I think that's really cool. And also, I really enjoyed this father and daughter relationship that he developed with this little girl. It's nothing new. It's kind of typical. You've seen it in Logan, you've seen it in The Last of Us, God of War a little bit. It's nothing new, right? But there's something about that story of the old man and the little kid. It just got to me. Like, emotionally, it got to me. So in the end, guys, a really solid second season for The Punisher. You got great actions, great characters, great acting, but the pacing and the storytelling kind of suffer a little bit. I would prefer a more cohesive story with maybe just one villain instead of 2, and have a much more focused narrative would help. But overall, I had fun. I had fun with the second season of The Punisher, and it's kind of a shame that I canceled it. I'm going to give The Punisher Season 2 a 7 out of 10. Also, I forgot to mention, I really enjoyed the soundtrack and the musical score, composed by Tyler Bate, who did Guardians of the Galaxy. He also did John Wick, and if you listen carefully, there's a little bit of John Wick in the Punisher score. There's just a little bit of country and a little bit of western. There's a lot of solo guitar, which I really enjoyed. The opening title sequence, absolutely amazing. So yeah, the score, the Punisher score is really sweet. Hey guys, if you got a chance to see The Punisher Season 2, let me know in the comment section how you feel about it. Did you like it? Did you not like it? And if you enjoy my review, hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more reviews like this. With that being said, I'll see you soon.